The little village of Bullaun has probably seen a fair share of unusual sights in its time, but rarely anything quite as way out as this. This tiny little spider-like aircraft is the brainchild of two local men, a national teacher and an AnCO instructor. And because they live at opposite ends of the village, it tends to get trundled from one workshop to another a couple of times a week. And predictably, there are howls of amusement from the locals or from anybody who happens to be passing through.
Any chance of being caught with the breathalyzer in that, Donal?
Is your driver's licence in order?
Yes, pardon. For another year.
But the two intrepid airmen appear to be completely nonplussed by the knockabout.
Put her down, we'll go. And don't mind them.
She'll fly.
Good lad, Donal. Good lad, yes.
Off we go.
The story of the little aeroplane goes back about 3 years when the two men, both incidentally fully qualified pilots, decided to cut their flying costs by building their own aircraft. If it's something that catches your fancy, there are hundreds of models to choose from, and they eventually settled for this 18.5-foot Sonerai, which was designed in the early 70s by an American John Monnett. This is what his own custom-built version looks like. The Sonerai is still regarded as an experimental plane, but over 2,000 have been built by do-it-yourself enthusiasts in the US. And here in Ireland, work is underway on two models, one at Abbeyshrew and the other here in Bullaun.
Oh, there's a lot of work, but the satisfaction of it is tremendous. Like, the kick out of building it alone is great in itself. The biggest achievement of all being to let it fly.
Although it's an exceptionally small aeroplane, it will have a range of about 300 miles, a top speed of about 135 miles per hour, and will have the advantage of being able to use ordinary petrol instead of the more expensive aviation fuel. Donal and Padraig estimate that it will cost somewhere between £5,000 and £6,000 to complete, but they say it would cost them well over twice this amount if they had to buy it. It has been an enormously satisfying venture for them, but there have of course been some setbacks and problems.
The design we chose to build is made from chrome malloy, mostly steel tubing, which we had to import from the United States. Now, that made it expensive, but I suppose we were charged 35% VAT on import, which made it a little bit more expensive than we expected. However, we got over that. Being made from steel, it involves welding, and Padraig welds, but even to weld this, you must get a license, special license.
Almost every spare minute is devoted to completing the project, come hail or rain. This week, the task of fitting the 18-foot wings is being undertaken with the help of the family. One of the attractions of the plane for the two intrepid airmen is that the wings can be detached in a matter of minutes, and the plane towed behind a car or on a trailer, which can be very handy indeed if you happen to make a forced landing in a field which isn't long enough for a takeoff. The Sonerai is also capable of being used for aerobatics. Both Padraig and Donal are experienced flyers, and however flimsy their little plane may seem, they aren't in the least bit nervous about the risks involved in flying it.
We took no shortcuts. It's designed to carry very high stresses and loads, and there's no risk, no more than cycling or driving a motor car.
What about your wives and families? Are they nervous? Are you not worried for their sakes?
I don't think they are. They're confident that we know what we're doing. I think, that we're safe.
And now that they have the aeroplane well in hand, the two Bullaun men are already making plans to provide the village with an airstrip. This is more or less what the finished product will look like, and although the locals aren't quite queuing up to get on the inaugural flight, the little Sonerai will be a regular sight in the East Galway sky by next spring.